Hello.
Hello again. How are you?
Well, and you?
Good, thanks. Seems like our connection's a little bit better than it was a few minutes ago, so that's good.
Yeah, I tried without the Wi-Fi, so let's see if it works better like that.
Okay, great. So we'll give people a few minutes to arrive. In the meantime, I'll do a little quick introduction of myself, and then we'll introduce you. My name's Layla Schlack. I am a food and wine writer and editor. I review wines of Alsace for wine enthusiasts, where I'm a writer at large. I also edit Whetstone magazine and write elsewhere. And I'm co-authoring a book called The Communion, Pairing for the People with Cha McCoy. That will be about wine pairing. And I'm here with Thibaut Frey. I'd love to hear a little bit about you and your family and the history of your winemaking.
Yes, with pleasure. So hello, everyone. So my name is Thibaut Frey. I'm one of the co-owners. So it's a family winery for a long time. We know two brothers involved in the winery. So brother Julien, who's 37 years old, and me, a little bit younger, 20. We are based in right in the middle of Alsace. The village is called Domaine. We are based there since 1960 approximately. It's approximately the period where we started to make our own wine. So this is my grandfather who started and who built the winery, followed by my father Dominique, who introduced organic agriculture already 25 years ago. So it was one pioneer region, and he closed with dynamic viticulture around 2000. So based in Domaine, you can see maybe a little bit of not in the traditional. So in the past, we're in the so a little bit more the postcard pages, and
Yes.
but it was a little bit hell to manage. So we different different places to store the wine. So it was and so 10 years ago we came here. So it's all built in bioclimatic cellar, only natural no air conditionings or nothing like that, so just by the materials.
Wonderful.
This
Sorry, go ahead.
is made now.
And yeah, for anyone who has not been to Egesheim, it is a beautiful postcard village. I think a lot of towns in Alsace say that Beauty and the Beast was modeled after their town. I think Egesheim it probably was. So if you're in the region, you should go to the region. If you're in the region, you'll want to visit. All right, well, let's get into it. Let's taste some wine.
Yeah. So you can see a little bit at the back.
Yeah.
So we're gonna maybe talk a little bit about that during the tasting. So maybe I can explain a little bit about the different vinification and aging. So if you want to start with the first one.
Yeah, we're starting with the Cremant.
I will
bad connection again.
taste as well.
Sure, yeah.
So Crémant d'Alsace is something with a lot of importance for us. It represents approximately 20% of the production, which is already something good. It's made from our village, Baclaville, and so the a little bit the typicity from Baclaville is that 90% of the terroir are from granite. So it's that kind of rock.
Oh, I love that you have that ready to show us. Look at that.
So you can.
Yeah. Very cool.
So it's really that kind of rock. and it's 80, 90 like a clay. And this is also some of the places we use to make the crémant, because it's a little bit easier to produce crémant with deeper soil than to something light like sandy granitic, who's always a little bit dry. So this is where it comes from, and at the back you can see the food and the barrel, which is called demi-muit, 500 liters barrel. So we have our own style of crémant, so made with food and then blended with demi-muit. The wines, they are in until spring usually, so a couple months before bottling. And then the average in bottle is approximately 2 years on the lease bottle.
Wonderful.
So this is this is one of the 3 cuvées that we are making. And so the Brut Nature, so it means that there is no dosage, so fully dry, made from Pinot Blanc, Pinot Gris, and Riesling. And so yes, no dosage, and this one approximately 2 years aged in bottle.
And the Pinot Blanc really comes through on the nose.
Yes. I think then the vintage, normally we usually do vintages, 2020, which was a quiet warm vintage, very ripe. So we never harvest the grapes, even for the crémant, too early. We try to have something really balanced, so food with higher acidity than the ones, but something already ripe with a ripe acidity. So then we're also able to make a various style, something good that doesn't need to add sugar or a little bit more dosage. So this is why we really like to make fresh crémant.
Yeah.
So this is something that I think that goes really well for as an appetizer. Nice texture, so you can also eat with if you want, like with something maybe something pie, some fish, maybe, and of course a little bit maybe some creamy cheeses or those kind of things.
Yeah, I think creamy cheese is definitely, because it's got this great, because it's zero dosage, the acidity is very good, but it's got this really nice honeysuckle quality that I can see going really nicely with like a triple cream sort of a cheese.
Yeah, I think something a little bit creamy goes well.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you are at Alsace, you can have it with the tarte flambée, of course. I think that would be a nice pairing for this one.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think this is a great aperitif with any ripe cheeses, like you said, or a first course, like you were saying, with like a fish or something. But because it's a riper vintage, it can stand up to something creamy, which is nice. Yeah. Should we move on to the to our Frankenstein Grand Cru?
Yeah, sure. So Frankenstein is the name of the Grand Cru. It's from the village Ambacla. So I think that it's one of the biggest Grand Cru in size. So it's approximately 56 hectares. And the difference is also that the Grand Cru is on 4 hills. So usually we have one hill or one is separated in 4 hills. So it's mostly with a little bit of sand. So that's where your block exactly are. So if you are going here, it's you have a little bit more rock, a little bit less than the more rocks, like really big, also big one. And then you are going a little down in the middle. There is a little more ground and a little bit deeper as well. And then you go a little bit down, more sand or granite that you can almost break. So dense, really dry type of soil with a lot of pressure. So sometimes a little bit difficult, especially with a warm vintage. That's why we try to use all the vines are going a little bit more down. So 2019 has a very nice acidity. I think it's almost the best period. After a few years in bottle, we always have a better expression of the soil. And of course, the Riesling, we can feel a little bit that typical aroma in the Riesling, like this aroma coming a little bit, and always more flavors after 3-4 years. So I think it's also good with fish, seafood, fish like oyster, nearly.
Yeah, this has a really, I love this because it's had a few years in bottle. It has that great petrol quality really developing. Somebody in the comment is saying, drink orange wine from Alsace, and we will. We're going to soon. We'll talk a little bit more about the Riesling, but we actually do have a skin contact wine here, which I'm also very excited about.
So it's a dry style. I think we have something like 2 grams of residual sugar, which is something very low. But we can feel that we have a nice body, but dry finish and the mineral at the end. So nice flavors on the nose, almost bright flavors, and then the palate is much more drier. So this is a little bit from granite. So the nose is often sometimes aromatic, and then the palate a little different than you can think first on the nose, and always drier and great.
Yeah, this is very fresh, and like you said, it does have good body. Like it's not, it's got some substance to it. It's not too light in body, which I like. I think you're right. I think a lot of fish dishes would pair well with this. But I could also see pairing this with like a pad thai or something. I think the acidity of it really would have that great kind of palate cleansing sensation with a dish like a pad thai or even maybe a fried food or something, like something that's a little bit heavier, not meaty heavy, but a little bit heavier. This is delicious. Yeah, this is what I like in a Riesling.
Wine has enough body to support that kind of food.
Yeah. And what can you tell me about this in terms of aging? Is this aged in barrique as well, or in Foudron?
This vintage was mostly inox.
Okay.
We have a little bit of inox. So in general, we use food, inox or stainless steel. A little bit of barrel, and this one 2019 in stainless steel. So we are a little bit using more the food. This is also due to the volume that we have, because it's always difficult to manage the volumes and a little bit the parcels that we have. So volumes are moving a little. Now we have we can better bring the volume to the size of that we have. So 2019 was stainless, so we use a little bit more the food.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad I have this bottle. I'm gonna have some Thai food tonight.
But the aging, I think it depends the maturity you want to have on the Riesling. Some people, they don't like, and they have a little bit of like hydrocarbon, and some people like, so they can keep it for 10, 15, 20 years. Especially, I think age 20 was really nice. It was a vintage really close beginning. During almost 3 years, and now the wine is really coming and up like for 6 months. So I think that you can store for maybe 15 or 20 years, and then style of taste that you prefer.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is drinking beautifully now. It's very fresh, but I think you're right. If you cellar it for a while, it's gonna cellar well. It's gonna do interesting things, and apparently my connection is not working right now.
Mine. Is it working or not?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully that means it's fixed itself. Yeah. Okay. Well, we can move on to the maceration.
Yeah.
This is our orange wine here, and I was so excited that this showed up for this tasting, because I had one or two skin contact wines when I was there last summer, and I just think that a lot of the grapes that you're growing in Alsace do really well in this style. And so tell me about it.
So it's mostly made from Gewürztraminer. It's a grape that work really well with that kind of vinification. So aromatic grapes usually goes well with red vinification. So we always extract more flavors from the grape. It's always just to find the right balance. So we keep it for 2 weeks on the skin, and this year it was approximately 30% distempt. So it's difficult to find the balance, because when we it was full bench for 30%, and the rest is distempt.
Okay.
So with the full bench, we always have more acidity, straightness. So it's always a balance to find, because you also can extract a little bit more of the tannins, or more bitterness maybe sometimes. So this one was for 2 years, and for 2 weeks on the skin, and then it's a natural vinification. So it's unfiltered, and just 1 milligram of SO2 before the bottling. So it's in the natural wine range, and I think it's a really interesting style of wine. It changed a lot for consumers, but it's interesting as well to make some new to match it with a new style of food.
Yeah, and when did you start making this style of wine?
3 years ago.
Okay.
So 3 years ago.
I want to show the label. It's a beautiful label that we've got. And also that natural. I just got it up a little on this way to me.
Yeah. So the label is showing my brother and me in one line.
Oh, I suspected there was a story behind it. Yeah, I love it. It's a great label.
And so you have 21 vintage, right?
Yep, I've got the 21.
So this one was mostly Gewürz, and then just a little bit of Muscat.
10% Muscat, yep.
So 21 has a nice acidity. It was a very difficult vintage, a lot of rain, so difficult to manage, but mostly for the Pinot family. Riesling and Gewürztraminer were a little bit easier to manage. And for one time, we were lucky to have poor soil like granite and sand because we had a lot of filtration, so it was also a little bit easier to manage with the water.
Yeah, yeah. And then 22 was quite a dry vintage.
Yeah,
in Alsace, right? Yeah.
just the opposite.
Yeah.
But this is something cool because when you make very low intervention wines, because the whole cellar is made with native yeast, so there is any inputs, nothing until spring, and then we decide before the bottling if we need to make a light filtration or something or add a little bit of sulfate. But that really depends of the style of cuvee we want to make.
This is fantastic. It's I just jumped ahead and tasted it. But it's, you know, like a little bit of that lychee quality from the Gewürztraminer comes through, and a little bit of that floral quality from the Muscat comes through. It drinks very clean. The acidity is great. Like when you see a wine that's cloudy like this, you don't know kind of if it's going to be really funky, but this is a super clean one that just has really great texture to it. So nice job. Congratulations. It's a beautiful wine.
And yeah,
it's got this great pepperiness to it as well.
Yeah, and sometimes people, they are asking what we're gonna eat with.
Yeah.
And Asian food is really interesting. Something a little bit strong or spicy.
Yeah. But I also, because it's got this kind of pepper note to it, I could also see just eating this with a big garden salad, which can also be tough to pair because you've got a vinaigrette, you've got all kinds of different flavors and textures, and for me, this is, I agree. I think like Korean food would be great with this, and certainly again Thai food. But I would love to just sit on a patio with this and a huge garden salad and just have a nice afternoon.
Yeah, it's still very refreshing, and you want to continue with another glass, which is something difficult to make with skin contact wines.
Yeah.
Sometimes you lose this drinkable style of the wines, but this is the style we want to keep with even with the skin contact. Something juicy, which is difficult to make with skin contact.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, right, it's pretty and juicy, and it's the skin contact is doing exactly what you want, which is to give it a little bit more body and structure and texture. But all of the qualities of your beautiful grapes come through. It's really nice wine. And I think because of that kind of dichotomy of the good acidity and the cleanness of it with the texture of it, it could pair with a lot of things. I think this could pair easily with fish, but also with chicken or duck or kind of your heavier game birds. I think this could pair with a Thanksgiving dinner and be fantastic in the US, for those in the US who do Thanksgiving dinner. And yeah, I can't think of much that this one couldn't do, to be honest. So I'd like to go back and just talk about why is it you think that Alsace wines in general are so food friendly? Like, what are some of the characteristics of the region that make wines that pair so well?
I think it's very complementary. So you can find a lot of style. So it's sometimes a little bit difficult or very complex. We try to do something very easy to understand for people, but it's so complex, and we can make so different type of wines. But in a way, it's something good also, because now we are tasting 3 different style of wines, so we are able to make very nice sparkling wines. We have the terroir to make really high level terroir with the wines. And then global warming is coming also, and the Pinot Noir is something that people are talking a lot about, the Alsatian Pinot Noir, because of course, yeah. the climate is changing, but I think also there are some new producers using some of their best blocks and vineyards to make Pinot Noir, which was maybe not the case in the past. They planted other grapes, and now they think that there is a big opportunity for that red wines. So they start to plant it in some of the best places, and then we can make so the sparkling wines, the dry whites, the Pinot Noir,
Yeah,
and we're also able to make, I think, some of the best sweet wines.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and it's this huge range of styles with not that many different grapes is also one of the things that's so interesting. And then I don't want to keep you much longer. Certainly, if anyone has questions, feel free to type them in. But I would love to hear what makes Alsace special to you as a place, as where you're from, where your family is from.
I think it's a big resume of what I said. So it's like a big family.
Yeah, yeah,
And yeah, it's always different, always new things, sometimes even new young producer coming, and a lot of different style of wines that makes able to makes everyone happy. So when people are coming to the tasting room, and sometimes there are maybe 10 people, and we always find the right wine for the right people, and
right.
which is not always easy. In some other regions, they come and they have to focus on a style of wine, and here, as I said, we always find the good wine for customers, and this is something nice to see.
Yeah, yeah, and it's true. I like that you touched on a lot of winemakers there too are trying different things. So it's a region with such a long history, so many families that have been there for hundreds of years, but you're still innovating and you're still trying things, and I think that's really sweet. So I guess that's it. I encourage everyone to visit Alsace if you haven't yet.
You're welcome.
And thank you all so much for joining us today and for bearing with us with our connectivity issues. We appreciate it. And I guess that's it.
Thank you very much, everyone, and see you soon in Alsace.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.